happening.
So he really had no ideology, did he?
Hmm?
He had no ideology.
None at all. He just used his old Albert Academy secondary school training with his skills and experience as a trade union leader in the iron mines in Marampa. And as a policeman, he was a former policeman. We used to call him dog catcher. No, I don't know why we were blessed or cursed with such leadership. That is what has been our
Well, I've heard people say that he totally destroyed the moral fabric of the country, and that
I wouldn't be surprised.
generations after that.
And then you asked about corruption. Therefore, he allowed corruption. He didn't care what people were doing in the offices, if they wanted to do this or that. What does it matter as long as I'm president? It's a pity. Whether it's a cosmic curse on our country because we had diamonds and we didn't use them properly or something, I don't know.
Well, let me ask you that question. I mean, I've heard that more than once, that the diamonds are the curse of Sierra Leone. Mm-hmm. That Sierra Leone would be better off if it had groundnuts like Gambia or something.
I agree.
You agree with that?
Like Ivory Coast had no diamond, but Hufulvania made the country a respected country and everything, and prosperous country. From his farm, his own farms, pineapples and things he exported to Europe by the shipload. And he became a rich man. No diamonds, no gold, nothing. But he used the things that the people were contributing to. You have a farm, it's the people you are paying to work on the farm. Stevens had no such thing. He didn't have a single little garden even for his own. But yet he ruined our country with diamonds.
Did he know what a diamond was if he saw one?
Oh, he knew that because I'm sure that one of his closest friends was an not this time not Afro-Lebanese, a Lebanese fellow, who I think they were the ones who said, by any time you want money, here's the money, you can use it. He had friends like that. He knew diamonds all right, but I don't think he owned a single diamond himself. He just said, okay.
Was he paranoid?
I don't think so. Mentally, he was quite all right. I think there's nothing wrong with his mind. It's just I don't know, I suppose if he was an American and had a President Bush, they'd call him an axis of evil. He just was evil.
Well, why did he need all those Guinean soldiers to bodyguard him?
No, that's a wrong story. He didn't use any Guinean soldiers to buy diamonds.
No, not to buy diamonds, to protect his
because he couldn't trust his own people. So, at the time when he accused John Bangura, at that time he was already, when he staged that false coup d'etat, we saw that same day Guinean planes would come and fly over Freetown to show that he was under the protection of Guinea. Because he didn't trust his people anyway. Knowing what his people had done before in other coup d'etats, he knew that it could happen to him too.
And there were attempts on his life?
He says so, I don't think so. I don't believe there's any, because I don't think they would have attempted. The way he described it, it was ridiculous. He said they came and shot around the office where he was, and they take to his bedroom and they shot around, but then, and you know what he did? Later on we learned that night that he said they came to his bedroom, he had known that they were going to have a coup, and he went up to Frobe College and stayed in the house of one of the professors, whom he rewarded by making him ambassador to China. That is the kind of way he deals with things.
Have you ever read his autobiography?
No. I know people have written about him. There was the English lady who must have been one of the communist pals in England, who later came to Kwame Nkrumah in Ghana. And she, I think, was going to write something about him. I don't know.
Well, he wrote a book called Lessons Life Taught Me. And last time I saw it,
I don't think he wrote. Isn't that the one that this lady wrote for him?
I'm sure someone wrote it for him.
This English lady.
But it's
under his name.
Yeah, it's under his name. And the last time I was in Sierra Leone, I saw maybe 5,000 copies of them up at Fort Bay in the library there that were never sold. They were just collecting them all.
Oh, you know more about Sierra Leone than most of us know.
There's also a comic book out.
It should be. Somebody wrote a comic book.
It's a comic book about his life, and if I have to send you a copy of it.
Do please. Any way you can help me that way.
In that comic book portrays him as one of the closest people to Baibure, centuries apart. Okay, that brings us to Joseph Saidu Momo and another period.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Joseph Saidu Momo.
Okay.
First to begin with, when I was a Minister of Defense, he was just, I don't think he was even a captain then. And I used to, as Minister of Defense, with an army background myself, I'd go and visit them in the mess, in the officers' mess, and we would chat and everything. And he would remind me later on when he became president, he said, you know, Doctor, forget about it. We know you were our boss at one time. And you know, it was Joseph Saidu Momo who invited Banja Chijansi, the exiled Governor General in London, and myself. He said he just got fed up of the advice he was getting from these fellows like AKT, who's now dead. AKT died last week in Freetown. Whom he got from Probe College. He was teaching at Probe College to make his closest advisors. Now, when he invited Governor General Banja Chijansi and me to Sierra Leone, he said, I've called you back because I think we need you. It was wrong for you to be in exile like that. He said, to show the people that I was the one who invited you, here's my helicopter, you have it for a whole day, you go and visit all 3 of the provinces. And when they see you in my helicopter, they will know that I am the one who brought you back. So we went to Makeni, we went to Bo, and we went to Kenema. And we came back and reported to him. He said, now I'm satisfied. He says, now you can go back, that I have invited you back to Sierra Leone, and you can come back whenever you want. But before you go, I want to have a final reception for you. He had a big reception in, not Mamyoko, but the hotel on the hill. Bintumani. And they said it was the largest governmental reception that ever had in Sierra Leone. And at the end of it, he said, Dr. Karefa-Smart, Governor General, you come up here. I have a surprise for you. And he called this same Eketi, and he said, Eketi, do what I told you to do. Eketi reached out, took out 2 diplomatic passports. Governor General, here you are. You now have a diplomatic passport. You are a representative of Sierra Leone. Karefa-Smart, here's a diplomatic passport for you, whom you'll be proud of. You can go back and know that you belong to Sierra Leone. He did that for us, which was a wonderful thing for him. So we really, but when a coup d'etat took place now against him, and he had to come, he was stayed here in this area in, what's the name of the place? Up on Route 27. I used to go and visit him. He said, Doctor, you have to come back to Sierra Leone, we need you. He says, when we get back to Sierra Leone, we can take off from where you left us. And he said, but when he went back, you know, the way it was, Albert, no, not Albert Magai, somebody there, they didn't even give him a good funeral when he died.
What was his relationship with Shaka Stevens after Momo became?
Oh, that's another interesting. I'm glad you're asking this question because that brings me to tell you what I know.
Yeah.
During Banja Chijansi's visit to him, he said, let me tell you something. He says, Shaka Stevens is going around saying that he made me president. It is true. I was an army officer. He brought me into the parliament. He brought me into cabinet. And then when he resigned, I took his place. I mean, constitutionally, I succeeded him. But he's now telling people that I'm only a little boy. And he's just put me there, and anything he tells me, I'll do. He says, I'm going to teach him a lesson. He says, from now on, I'll tell him that I'm not his boy anymore. If he wants to come and see me, he has to send a letter saying, Mr. President. He told me this himself. Mama told us this. He says, from now on, this is what I'm going to treat him. And that's the way he treated him till he died. He paid no attention to him. As I told you, he died a sick man in a condition, physical condition, which was disgraceful. He paid no more respect to him. And yet he owed his being president to Shaka Stevens, bringing him to parliament, resigning and making him president. So these are the relationships.
The country deteriorated under Shaka Stevens and continued to deteriorate under Momo.
Well, let's say it began deteriorating under Albert Magai, who himself also did not really have a vision. He just depended on his being a lawyer, and he had his lawyer friends, and they would advise him. But there was nothing constructive that we could see. But it did not get as bad. It was just beginning to lose international respect.
Mm.
I mean, like for instance, if a cabinet, if the British government called a Commonwealth meeting, heads of state go there, we never would hear anything constructive, from beginning from Albert Magai, beginning to Shaka Stevens, beginning now even to Ahmed Tijan Kaba. He would go there and allow somebody like an illiterate person in Gambia, who is virtually illiterate, secondary school even he did not have. He would go to a meeting of the Commonwealth and he would say things that were respected and published. Never a word about what Tijan Kaba says. So the thing, when I go home, I tell him we were like on a railroad that got derailed. Started going down the rail. Now it's our duty to pick it up again and put it on the rails. The final derailment came under the last people.
What was behind, because this happened under Momo, in March '87, the alleged attempt, there was an alleged coup attempt again, and 60 people were arrested, including Francis Mina?
No, in this case, Momo told us. I'll tell you what Momo told us. While in this same visit, that thing, there had been an attempted coup. That before we got there, Momo claims that they had planned to kill him, and that Mina was the architect of this planning, and so he arrested all of them. And then when we visited him, he said, "You hear about this case, about Mina and the others?" He says, "I'm going to kill him." He says, "Anybody who tries to kill me, I will kill, and I know that Mina was the one." So he said, "If you hear that I've killed him, I am telling you that I'm going to kill him, because he tried to kill me." That is the story about Mina. It may be true that Momo, as a lawyer, was the one who worked with people and advised. And he was also a member of parliament. He was a minister. So he says, that's the true story about that.
You know, I skipped one of Shaka Stevens' mysterious events, and that was the head of the bank who fell from his balcony and died.
That's a sad story. That's a sad story. And he was also very, very good minister. He was not only head of, I think he was Minister of Finance. Oh no, he was head of the bank. And it's sad. What happened was, this fellow also disagreed with him, just as Fona had disagreed with him before in the ministry. And I think what they did was, according to the story of the family, etc., they claimed that he fell from his balcony, that he probably got faint or something and fell from his balcony and killed. But the story is that they sent people off there and killed him, because he was at loggerheads with the head of state.
So Shaka Stevens had the same kind of thugs around him that Duvalier had in Haiti.
You have to be, if you're that kind of person, the only way you can survive is to have thugs, to do your will. Like they did to, I mean, we lost everything, you know, this last time. We can't blame Kaba about it, or whoever was in charge. But they went and literally raided our house, took everything, beginning with all our books, all our clothes, everything we owned, furniture, academic robes, our diplomas, everything we lost. We came back here empty-handed. So when we say we are going back home, we are going back empty-handed.
Well, now we're moving up towards the beginning of the rebel war. So, and the date that's attributed to is March 23rd, 91.
I don't know the dates, but I will tell you what I know,
yeah.
And then that should answer any questions you have. When things were not going so well in Sierra Leone, those of us Sierra Leoneans who were resident here, that's when we decided to say this is now the second attempt at a political party. We decided to do that.
Okay. I think we're going to stop at this point because we got 6 minutes to go here, and rather than